next anime that we're going to be talking about is Gachiakuta, and you know what? They gave me what I wanted for this episode. They gave me the explanation of the power system. I was kind of expecting it this episode, either this episode or next episode, but a good portion of this episode was actually explained on how like the power system work, where the character Engine, which is the dude who saves Rudo, he explains, I don't remember the name of it, and I hopefully will remember the name of it eventually, but all items have like some energy lingering type stuff. And, if they accumulate enough, you can usually bring some properties of items to life, or they'll take a shape or form. That's how the garbage monsters in the wastelands are formed as well. But there are people where if you pour enough of that energy into a certain item, you can either use it as like your own treasure and stuff like that. And so what makes Rudo so special is that I originally thought that it was just his gloves that were able to like fill that energy with things, but that's not the case. He is what Engine and the others call just a natural giver, where he can just draw out that power from like any object. He's not somebody that needs to spend time with an object and cherish an object. He's just someone that can just do it on his own. Like he can just do it, and that item is going to automatically have whatever properties that like in which the world's energy uses. And honestly, I actually think they set up that premise very nicely, because Rudo was already set up as somebody who thinks that, all items need to be treasured. Like he says, he goes in to take the trash from the upper echelon society because he's like, there are things here that are just worth keeping. There are things that like are barely even broken, that you can be easily fixed, that people just throw away and they have no care for it. Now, I think this is definitely going to play into the wider way in things work, where I think a lot of people do have that idea of just throwing things away like that because they don't want that power and they don't want that giver to like manifest in a certain way. Now, what the purpose is, I have no clue. But Engine leaves Rudo by himself for a little bit, gives him some money in order to do stuff. Money gets taken, and he meets somebody who's also part of the cleaners who help with like clearing out the monsters from the wasteland. So it seems like their main thing is going to be fighting a lot of those monsters that are like scattered throughout the wasteland. Now I forget this new character's name, but him and Rudo, they don't have a good interaction as well. It turns good at some point where Rudo takes his staff to try to take from the cat, but then obviously, it's his staff, they have a whole fight. But then there's a point where they're actually like, being nice with each other, and honestly it's the funniest thing, Rudo's never smiled, which is, I don't know if that's true. I feel like there is a point where he has smiled before in this series. I'm like 99% sure in the last couple of episodes he did some type of smile. I think he at least smiled at the girl at some point. I'm not 100% sure. I really don't know. Maybe it's like one of those things he just does it unconscious, or I might be wrong. Maybe he never smiled before. But he tries to, and it just ruins the whole mood. They start fighting again. And we get basically what is 5 minutes of Rudo slinging poop at this member of the cleaners, his trainer, and it's powered. The poop itself is not powered, but it's a plunger that Rudo's able to get the natural ability of, and he's slinging it around, throwing poop. Fair, fine, whatever. Engine comes to pick them up. There's a girl with them. I mean, like, I didn't want to like say it or call it out for this anime, but it was just like, hey, generic, let's meet some people, and boy gets into shenanigans and ends up getting into a group where he will fight with said group and eventually become friends with said group. Like, it was shonen. It was the shonen. It was a typical shonen thing, which nothing against it. I had fun watching it. I had a fun time enjoying it and watching it, and it was fun seeing Rudo sling poop everywhere. But like on the foundation of it, it was like, oh yeah, this is just like shonen thing. Yeah. He's sitting there being like, man, what'd I get myself into? Oh, man. I mean, it was a lot less goofier than that. But still, like, it was one of those, like, just like, oh, yeah, shonen, like, hey, we gotta introduce members of the group type stuff. So, and that'll probably be next episode, too. They'll probably introduce more members of the group. We'll get more interactions, and we'll probably get we'll be like, all right, kid, let's see what you got type stuff. So, that will be it. Honestly, like I said, there wasn't really much in terms of the episode. I mean, all the other thing else I could say is like the beginning. Engine brought Rudo to a hospital, get him checked out. Sold his clothes. His clothes sold for a lot of money. So it's just kind of one of those things where I sat there and I'm just like, listen, man, there wasn't much. And sometimes when it comes to these shonen anime, there won't be very much. And that happens sometimes. That just genuinely happens. You're just not going to have a lot of things to talk about, unfortunately. And I wish I could talk about more, but I don't. And honestly, I'm just babbling now at this point. So it's probably a good idea if we just move on.